Hey folks, welcome to another battle report. I'm actually bringing my Empire out here. This is a stand-in Empire army as I'm slowly putting it together at the moment. So there's bits of all sorts for my Dogs of War and everything just stuck in here. Normally I don't show these kinds of armies, but you know, it was something I learned a lot from using my Empire. And someone said because of the result I probably wouldn't post it. So I'm going to post it anyway and see what you think. Alright, let's get into it. So looking at my opponent's army, he has a bunch of balls on the right hand side there with a butcher in it. He then has his iron guts along with a tyrant in it, and I think he's got the tenderizer. I can't remember many of the magic items on this one because I don't think they played a huge part. And left to them is another unit of iron guts. Then onto the left hand side we have two Mournfang, no, yeah, I think Rhinox Riders. They're not Mournfang yet. Rhinox Riders, a unit of 20 Nobblers, and then a couple of Lead Bouchers out on the flank. So onto my side, on my right, I have a unit of Knights. There's no upgrades, standard Knights. A cannon. In front of them I have a detachment of 10 crossbowmen. Those pikemen are actually my halberdiers. In there is my general with full plate armour, great weapon, and a holy relic. And then a detachment of 10 swordsmen. Behind them there's two level 2 wizards, one of fire, one of beasts I believe, and then I have another detachment of 10 swordsmen and another unit of halberdiers, and I think that's 28 of those in each of those. And then there is my warrior priest with a great weapon and an armour of meteoric iron. Next up I have a unit of another 10 crossbowmen, and a unit of 5 pistoliers, another unit of knights, no upgrades, my steam tank, and in the woods there you can just see one of the chaps is a unit of huntsmen. Yeah, they had the scout ability, but there wasn't much more options for me. They're just going to be getting ready to move up and slow stuff down. So this is after both of our turn ones. He just moved up as aggressively as you can see. Also in the background I did forget to mention you can actually see a Gorger on the top side there. So yeah, he has a Gorger coming. So he moves up as you see, just being as aggressive as possible. There's not much I can do. My steam tank on the far side runs up the side. My crossbowmen just get into position to shoot. Everyone else holds. My shooting, my magic and everything does absolutely nothing. And yeah, so it was a very quick first two turns. He might have got a few things off, but I have learnt with Ogre Magic, you kind of tend to let a few things go off early on because they're so easy to cast, and then save all my spells till when I really need it. As you can see, I did get my cannon shot off here. You can see my poor tank doesn't have an engineer at the moment, so I'm still painting him. But I do get a cannon shot, and I actually managed to take out one of the Rhinox Riders, which is fantastic because these guys cause terror, and that's the last thing I want is these getting into my lines. It's part and parcel why I take the Huntsman group. They're there to reveal, block up, do whatever they can to stop things like this. So they're going to stand in front of him, unfortunately. But yeah, I was well chuffed I managed to get rid of one of those guys. So he didn't actually want to charge, but managed to fail his bad-tempered special rule, which basically means they have to charge if possible. And so charge these guys down. Unfortunately, I thought I had to be up close to make sure I blocked him off. But then I was fleeing through, the difficult ground, and I thought, I had a good chance of getting away. But no, they got ran down and destroyed, which is most disappointing. But saying that, I can't complain too much really, because that's now his big scary unit, or one of his big scary units, now stuck in with difficult terrain in the woods, and I have units around that will stop him from marching, so that should slow him down for a while. Okay, so this is how it's currently looking at the end of my turn 2. He'd moved up as you can see, and then I've moved up to counter. My wizards moved up basically so they can just do flee away, because obviously they're small enough as flee and they're not going to panic my units. I did the same with my swordsmen because they're a detachment, so they're going to cause, I think, panic in other detachments. My knights at the top there have just charged up to try and drag in the ogre balls, and with 1-up save there's a fair chance I can actually survive a fight with them, fingers crossed. In the meantime I'm just putting as many shots in as I can into one unit, try and clear one unit and then move on to the next, while I just try and jam them up with as much stuff as I can and hope my big fighter units can survive. I've got the numbers there that I shouldn't be outnumbered by fear causing enemy and instantly run down, but you never know with the ogres. Unfortunately, on the top side there, you can see that my actual knights failed their terror check, because they were within 6 of the Rhinox Rider. But my Pistoliers passed, all on their own leadership, so I was so impressed with them. And so did my Crossbowmen, so which is quite good, because that's held that area there. A bit of a shame with the Knights, but at the moment they're out of the way anyway, not a lot they can do. And right at the top there, I think my Steam Tank this turn charges into the Lead Belchers to clear them out. So here's my charge from my Steam Tank into the Lead Belchers. The dice behind there, the square dice, is just to show how many steam points I've got left, and the 2 purple dice is there to remind me that I had 2 extra D3 impact hits when I charged, because of the distance I charged. So the Steam Tank beats off the Lead Belchers. One does survive, but he just runs off. Not much I can do about it, because I can't give chase in a Steam Tank. Anyway, into my opponent's turn, and he just declares charge everywhere. As you can see, he declares charge here against my Halberdier unit. I'm just hoping to last 1 turn and be able to get a few wounds off. But what can you do? It's not a lot you can do. I was hoping to wait just a little bit longer, and I've done more wounds with shooting, but my shooting was really badly effective in this game and didn't do much damage at all, and neither did my magic, which I was just hoping to get enough wounds off. Up above them, you can see I had also I fled with my swordsman, and then fled with a wizard as well, just to keep him out of danger of the tyrant's unit. And I've got my other wizard here ready to do a similar thing, just to try and slow him down, keep them slowly pegging across. And right at the top there, he charges my cavalry. It's just a quick shot of doing my 2 fleas, and yeah, the first one fled. Obviously, he couldn't continue and catch them because my wizard was in the way, so it redirected into my wizard, which he couldn't have charged to begin with, because he could only have charged my swordsman, and he flees and gets away as well. On the side where he charges my knights, I was quite happy with this. That's what they're there for, but could you really, the purple dice there with 6 on it is to remind me that I failed my leadership check and will be hitting them on 6s. With my high armor save and plenty of attacks, I know they're not amazingly strong, but there's a good chance that I could at least hold them for a little while. But now I'm only hitting on 6s, yeah, there's no chance at all. Which is such a damn shame, because I did actually manage to do a little bit of damage on these guys, but I think the intestines there, that marker there, I think is Troll Guts is up, which I believe is the regeneration one, which makes life just a little bit harder. It's one of the reasons I bring in a Fire Wizard, because as long as I hit him with a Fireball, that obviously vanishes away. Yeah, that's actually part of the combo on my wizards. I've got 1 Fire Wizard, and I have the other wizard with the Doomfire ring. So I've got a couple of ways to get me a bit of regeneration if I need to. So as you can see here, he manages to beat them, managed to kill 3 off, but actually I managed to kill one of the Ogre Bulls off as well, which wasn't bad considering I needed 6 to hit, 5s to wounds, and then he had a light armor save. But yeah, sheer amount of attacks. Lost, and of course outnumbered by vehicles and enemy. But luckily he didn't catch me. There's a good chance I can rally. This is definitely a thing I'll be thinking about in my future Empire lists, is be giving my little knight units a musician. Because actually it's not too bad on cost. I'm used to spending the 10 points on my Dogs of War guys, which always seems a bit much. But for these guys, perfect. So yeah, unfortunately here, my guys didn't hold. Again, they didn't outnumber me on this one. It's just pure casualties and morale check. And again, you can see the little guts icon on them, so they had their 4-up regeneration on them. My magic, my whole plan of just putting fire on things to get rid of regeneration, it's not working. You know, if I got a spell through, it did like one hit and failed to wound kind of thing. You know, or like 4 hits and no wounds. But yep. He defeated all of those and overran. This is one of the things I'm thinking about changing my list now. Quite pleased with the kind of makeup of my army. It's got enough little doohickeys running around to annoy people. But the guys, with big units, if I'm going to spend the points on the big units, I want them to hold. I think a BSB may be required. So this is how we're looking at the end of my turn. As you can see, on the left hand side there, my knights had rallied in the woods, which is really good of them. Ended up going off and charging that last Lead Belcher, because that damn thing rallied. My Steam Tank is well out of position to help me anywhere else, which is such a pain in the arse. My deployment is what really screwed me over here. I wasn't happy with it. Basically, because I'm so wide and I've tried to squeeze myself into a small gap, the thing is, I had a plan. I was basically going to put my crossbowmen up front. They can shoot as much as they like, and flee when any charges are declared on them. So I should be 2 turns safe, flee on the 3rd turn, and then I have my combat units in behind, because obviously they're a detachment, they're not going to cause any panic. I completely forgot about that. I'm trying to line up my crossbowmen to get as many shots on them while trying to squeeze my troops in beside them, and it just didn't work out for me. So you can see my crossbowmen down the bottom had died. My pistoliers are doing a wonderful job and actually chipping some wounds off with their pistols from that Rhinox rider. My cannon on the other side there, that misfired, that's why it's facing the other way around. We'll be able to shoot this turn on next. My knights did rally at the top, and my crossbowmen are still trying to cause wounds on the Iron Guts in the centre. So, my opponent's turn, as you see, he charged in here. I don't know. It's a tricky situation. I actually managed to get my counter charge off. They passed their fear check with my swordsman. This is exactly why I like the swordsman. With a 4-up save and into someone's flank, they're really hard to remove to stop them denying the enemy flank. But yeah, with 28 halberdiers, I don't expect many to go and fight. My elector count is actually going to take on the tyrant. It's just to reduce the amount of points, wounds, I think. It's the best thing I can do in the first round of combat. As I say, even if I lose this, it's my leadership is going to kill me, and I really think a BSB should have been put in. Unfortunately, on the flank there, he managed to charge in against my knights again. But yeah, 2 left and mopped them up and got the points for those. I still love my knights. 5-man unit of knights is what, 24 points each, are they? So that's what, 120. Probably a musician might have been a good idea because of the way I use them. I basically use them as fast carry, which are just a lot more resilient in case I get a chance to charge them in the flanks. So this is how it's looking at the moment. It's absolutely terrible. So yeah, his ogres are with the butcher there in the centre are there because they fled off the table when they chased over my crossbowmen and have just now returned. His main unit destroyed my halberdiers. My general did a hell of a job at holding the hits. Only because that 4-up relic thing, but I'm pretty sure he had the tenderizer, which turns into D3 wounds, and yeah, smashed them up that way. Overran and ate my cannon crew. I've got 2 wizards running around, swordsmen that are just going to go for a table quarter. I've got my knights on the other side, and my steam tank has turned around and probably popped a shot at the Rhinox rider. But again, it's still going. I think it's got 1 wound left. My pistoliers have fled from it and fled straight off the table. But hey ho, they've done what they did. Their job was to hold that thing up. My pistoliers are what, 95 points or so, and my what they called huntsmen, I think, are 50 points. That's 150 points, and I think these guys are over 300 points. So I was quite happy with the cost effectiveness of them holding them up. So, I haven't mentioned the Gorger. He did turn up. He turned up behind the cannon. The cannon swung around and fired at him and blew him off the table, which was fantastic. Everything else you see, there's not a lot I can do. I'm trying to blast him with magic. I still have my 2 wizards. There's one just above the butcher unit in the middle there. I went ham with my steam tank. Went for max steam points. Was fine, and have just barreled into the what's it called? Oh no, he's got 2 wounds left. That Rhinox rider, I think he's got like 5 or 6 dying wounds, so they're pretty hefty. And my knights have just gone around the corner to capture some table quarters. So my steam tank comes in, and yeah, I think he had 4 D3 impact hits. But yeah, I hit this dude and obliterated him into a red smear, which is fantastic. I like this steam tank. It's not got the turrets. It's what, 25 points cheaper, which I can't remember if that's 275 or 325. I think it's 275, but I'm not entirely sure. But for its cost effectiveness, it's useful. Downside, I just used it really bad here. Thankfully, wiping out this unit has just brought its points back to being useful after destroying this unit, which is as effective as cost effective as this guy, and destroying the lead belchers. So he is a net plus for this game, but only just. In my opponent's turn, he charges my crossbowman, who just choose to flee. They have no chance in hell of stopping that lot, so I might as well flee and to see if I can rally them and try and be annoying on my last turn. In the meantime, he's trying to cast Bone Cruncher and Tooth Cracker, is it? The panic tests and that on my wizards to try and get rid of them. Here he gets rid of my Fire Wizard, again with one of the range damage spells, but I cannot remember which one. I do try and go for a glory shot just to finish the game off. I mean, it'd be great just to cause a panic check and watch those ogres flee right at the last, but unfortunately it was not to be, and I'm pretty sure that my cannonball just got stuck in the mud. And this is how the game ended. Yeah, I definitely lost that one. I only managed to get rid of one of his big units, which was his Rhinox Riders, and yeah, I just couldn't do the damage elsewhere. It was somewhat disappointing, but that entirely my fault. My setup was awful. My steam tank, which, although in a later game proved it can be destroyed rather quickly against high strength attacks, would probably been far better in the centre of my lines, just pinning everything in place, and just leave my annoying units to harass the Rhinox Riders. Because I keep thinking it moves faster than it actually does, but it doesn't. It's what, 15? You can do what, 3, 4, 5 steam points, 3 inches. Yeah, 15 inches the max move. So it is not quick. My idea of it being a flanker along with my knights, completely wasted. So yeah, definitely should have been in the centre of my line. Crossbowmen should have just been in a nice long line, back off the 12 inches. So I know it's going to take 1, 2, 3 turns at least for them to get to me. In the meantime, I can run up my cavalry like they do, my pistoliers, to slow stuff down, give me a chance to shoot. Then I have 20 crossbowmen firing, a cannon firing, and should be able to whittle something down. Also have my 2 wizards. Beasts, I took beasts for the oxen stands, because I know morale was going to be an issue. Problem is, I never took a morale phase. Well, I never had a unit fleeing after my magic phase, so they'd either run off the table, been wiped out, or fled in my turn, so in his turn they were then chased down. So, complete waste of time. So I have a feeling I'll be replacing him probably as a light wizard, give himself some protection. That might work. Dropping one of these guys to weapon skill 1 or giving myself a 5-up ward, I think that'd be quite nice. Other than that, really good game. I enjoyed playing the ogres. I do have another one against the ogres. Very different kind of game, because we start using the random scenario generator, which gives a different feel to a game. So, well, if I get around to putting that one up, I'll try and put that one up again. Be using my horrendous Empire army, which is a mishmash of various bits that I've got. But it's good fun to play test things, so you know what you're heading for. I like big units of halberdiers. They are not the greatest. I'm sure swordsmen would have been preferred by most. They get a 5-up save against shooting, 4-up save in combat, and their weapon skill 4. So it's a lot of gains you get for them. But halberdiers are supposed to be the standard state troop, so I feel that I should have 2 big blocks of halberdiers. Again, my warrior priest, I could actually drop him, I think, and just put in a BSB. They're what, 50 points, 25, 75 points plus either a magic item or a magic banner. Probably go for the same sort of setup as my warrior priest, excuse me a second. And have the armor of meteoric iron. Or not, I don't know actually. But I feel if we had a reroll on some of my break checks, my troops would actually hold for an extra turn. That's all I need to do against these guys, is just hold for as long as I can and mop up elsewhere, not let them rampage through. But anyway, that was my battle, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. The Wireless.